So it's good, my dude.
Like a
Yeah, I hear you on that.
see what's going on. I gotta claim my joint. Haven't been on in a couple of days. Still holding strong on 3,000%. That's good.
Oh yeah,
And
it's right here. It's gone back up a little bit. This thing dropped crazy though.
It's a bad market, man.
Yeah, man. Well, again, I think that hack kind of fucked everything up too. Because now it's like you can't even exchange any algo. Like, how do you do it?
Forgot about that.
You know what I mean? So it's like right now, if you go to Tinyman,
Right.
like, still the same message, bro. This is it right here. So you go to the app, still the same warnings. Told everyone to pull from the liquidity pool, and if you go here, you can't do nothing. You can't convert, nothing. They just let you know if you do any compensation or something like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, bro, not a good look. But it bounced back a little bit. I mean, this was down to like the total value. Obviously, that goes by the price of the coin, and right. It was down like I think 180. So it even came up a little bit. But I mean, if you look at this, yeah, saying my worth of my stake is about 1,400.
No.
Right here. So that's basically. Oh yeah, it took a huge hit. Because if you go to
down to about 40%.
Here's that one. Let's see. Yeah, it's at about 17 cents. So this is where we're at. Where this was at, like when that thing was moving right before that hack, I think this was upwards like 30 cents.
Right.
So yeah, it's down 40% plus. So yeah, that's where we're at. But it's also, I think it has a lot to do with the liquidity though too, right? Like, because if you look at like if you do like one to one for algo, it's 17 cents is roughly 17 cents. It's like a 0.02. But look, if you start going upwards of like, say I want to cash out 1,000, you're losing 15%. Now say you got 10,000, 62%, dog.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I think that comes into effect as well. So it's like, I can't do nothing with my shit right now. I just got to sit on it until things get back to normal. I'll just stake it. Damn right. So for now, I'm just gonna let it rock.
It's bear season.
Yeah, man. Just collect my rewards, which I'll actually do some. So I think I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah, I don't know, man, because like I said, you're definitely right. There's like you get a certain amount, and then they go up, like as you let them sit for a little bit longer. But I could be wrong. But I think yesterday I noticed that after a certain point, though, it looked like it started trickling back down. So I think there definitely is like some sort of window of opportunity in terms of like the best time to take your rewards. I could be wrong, but
according to the guys Reddit, it's about 11:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, right. But the weird part is I think that's right when you get your rewards though. So like for instance, I would say right when I'm like capable of claiming my rewards, I think it's somewhere around like 160 ARC, right? Or ARCC, however you pronounce it. But then you'll notice I let it sit for a little bit. Now it's like 190, right? So I got more out of it. But I do believe like if I waited, say, I don't know, another 4 hours or 5, I believe that number would start trickling down a little bit. I could be wrong. I gotta really be like more on top of it. But that's what I'm seeing. But all I do is I claim and I just roll it back in here. We'll just try and get as many as I can and just hoping that once things return to a little bit of normal, you know. Because even then, I wanted to convert even to a couple other coins and I want to try to get into a couple other pools. You know, compare like apples to oranges, just like performance versus the different algo ASAs. But I can't even do that right now because there's no way to convert anything to anything else. Like all I can do is send algo to my algo wallet, and you can't even do anything with algo in Yieldly. It has to be, you know. So you're limited. But I think you might be aware of it. I thought there was some other.
By direct though?
No, how would you do it? Because like if you look at it, the only way to really do anything with algo is through Tinyman.
Well, I would think that these projects would, like have a process to take algo and give you coin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But where do you go? You know what I'm saying? Like who can I?
I'm not sure, but
That's what I mean. I think Tinyman is literally their Uniswap. You know what I mean?
It is.
Or SataSwap or whatever, right? You aware of that other one? What is it? Saitama? They just started their own exchange. It's like SataSwap, SataMask. I'm sorry.
I'm not familiar with.
It's supposed to be like MetaMask. It's called Saitama Inu. It's like some stuff that some people know about. It's a small community. They're on YouTube and stuff. I got a little bit of money in there, nothing crazy. But they just launched. I think it's yeah. Let me do it here. Saitama Inu. It's this right here. Let's come over here right quick. So this is their thing. It's an Ethereum token though. So, but yeah. So they this is like some sort of small altcoin, right? But I guess the difference is that they started their own. If you look on here, I think they talk about right here, SataMask. So it's their own like DEX. I don't know what the incentives are versus using that versus like a Uniswap or like a MetaMask or something. You know what I mean? I really don't know. Maybe something I start researching. But this just launched, I think, on Saturday.
And it works on the Algorand chain?
What? No, again, this is Ethereum. This is an Ethereum token. So it's the ERC, what is it? ERC 20, I guess, right?
Yep, ERC 20.
Yep. So I don't know what's different between this versus a MetaMask or a Uniswap or yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know yet. So I'm gonna start poking around on it tonight though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got put on a Saitama at one point. Really just stumbled across on YouTube. I know so there was just a handful of people talking about it. So I was like, you know what? Throw $100 at it, see what happens.
Option.
Yeah. We'll see what happens though. What else we got going on over here though?
Anything's crazy.
What was that? Yeah, man, it's really like it's absurd, really. Like
Failure.
I mean, it's not absurd. It happens, right? And they've been all over their Twitter too, like talking about how like they got tons of support and people are trying to build on it and do what they do.
I appreciate that it's the community that.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. Like it's kind of cool that it's like they're the ones who came out. It wasn't other people saying, "Yo, what happened to my algo or my this pool?" They found out about it and they brought it up, and then they started locking shit down, and then literally got on here and started telling people, "Yo, pull your money out of our shit." A lot of people would not do that. They would never let you do that. They would never say nothing. I'd say, oh, there's some sort of glitch. And I do believe there's something they're talking about. They're trying to figure out a way for like people who did lose to figure out a way to compensate them and things like that too. So, I mean, I think they're doing everything trying to do everything the right way that they can. Because you got to handle it like that, really. Otherwise, that could be like detrimental, right? But I've been seeing some stuff too. Where was I? I think it was Coinbase. Let me give me 2 seconds. Bring this over here though and pull this off screen. We're talking about like ALGO, a couple other coins, but like I said, usually you don't see yeah, this was it. So it was boom. Where is it? Oh no, it's not putting the right thing. Cool. My bad. But basically they were talking about like the 10 fastest. So basically what they're doing is judging like the 10 fastest growing cryptocurrency ecosystems for like 2021. But how they did it, and which makes kind of sense, is they're saying they did it based on like the amount of developers that are on that platform. Because they're basically saying like developers and people of that nature typically are more like, if something's good or if there's a reason to use it, they'll use it, rather than people just hyping something up. And your boy Algorand was number 10 though on that list. Yeah, so we're talking about Terra, which I was at Luna, I think, right? I don't mess with that too much. I'm in on Solana though. I know you're like Infinite, right? Avalanche, I'm in on Polygon. I mean, Internet Computers on there too, which is kind of Like Internet Computer looks interesting, I'm not gonna lie. But at one point that shit was crazy. That shit hit like $700. Like
It was like $500 when it first came out. And
yeah,
so,
now it's down a lot, big time. But I think it's more at like a normal
but a lot of people a lot of money.
What happened?
A lot of people lost money.
Oh hell yeah, dude. I remember seeing that and I was like, yo, what is this shit? And it was just shooting. It was just taking off.
It's a great time.
I didn't touch it. Yeah, it's like basically just like a decentralized internet.
But it's like not to get technical, but it's like Docker container type thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, the way they compared it, I think if I looked it up, I think there was Internet Computer, right? They were basically saying to them, it's like the Forbes was trying to catch some money. I think they were saying they were comparing it to like AWS on the blockchain. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting though. Where they were saying, you know, they were just doing a little different, saying based on the number of full-time developers they had. But then they compared it to, I think, like the biggest cryptos down here. And you look at that, I mean, Ethereum, Polkadot, they got way more. I'm in on Cosmos. I got a little bit of that. Cardano, obviously, I'm in on. I think Cardano, I mean, I don't know. I think they're gonna start doing something though. It's so low right now. I mean, to me, now's the time to get in on all this shit.
I mean, if you believe in a project, now's the time.
Yeah, 100%. I personally think Cardano, like, you know, I mean, they don't do stuff the same way. Like, you know, I feel like they try to put more thought and be careful with what they do rather than just like being the first to do it or, but they keep getting kind of, you know, more and more. I know they got some weird thing that they're doing with Samsung. Whole thing of tracking, like planting trees and stuff, but they got Samsung. My understanding is they signed a deal, which was what do you think of this guy though?
Personal opinion or professional?
Just in general, whatever, both.
I don't like his project.
Yeah, he's just not into it.
No, it's just, you know, he's a guy from the original Ethereum team.
Yeah, that was my understanding, was right. He was part of the Ethereum team and then kind of didn't like the way they were doing certain things, so he went out on his own.
There's a bunch of Gavin Wood as Polkadot. There's a few of them, obviously.
Yeah, so basically all the people who are with the other big names all kind of started around Ethereum.
But he's basically still using Ethereum's baseline platform. And he's trying to spin off. And it's like,
my understanding is, right, they're already ahead of Ethereum certain things, right? Where they're at already proof of stake, right? In terms of, and I thought my understanding was that in terms of like network speed and amount of transactions, they were ahead of the game in terms of Ethereum.
Theoretically.
All right. Listen, I guess we'll find out. I know when they did that whole that little like metaverse launch party for Cardano, which I thought would be like a big deal for them. It didn't really.
The thing is that they have no product at all. They have no product.
I did hear something like that on the move though. That's what I thought. I read the other day. That's why I clicked this link.
I mean, they have no product. They have no actual. Right? So they have a ways to go before. Like if we look at the Algorand, for example, they're the same stage as Cardano. They're in their infancy and they have a bunch of products.
Yeah,
making a bunch of deals. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you.
So, you know, in terms of competition, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, I'm with you. But I thought that they're working on like their own decks and things like that. I thought I read something.
Yeah, they're always saying stuff like that. That's my problem with them.
Yeah, I'm with you. So you're saying they're saying it, they just ain't doing it.
Every year they always fall short, and they have same about Cardano. That's what worries me about it. It's super gassed up, and they never ever make their deadline ever.
Gotcha. I mean, Ethereum's the same way though, right? I mean, they have plenty of product though. They plenty of things that are going on. But
Uniswap though, so you say what you want to say about Uniswap, but it exists.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Who is on Ethereum? Fine, but you know.
Yep, I get it.
Something.
Listen, we'll see. I thought I saw something too about Solana coming up with their own. Is this it? Yep. Soblex.ai.
What coins are you gonna swap?
I don't know yet because they ain't got none.
Even Ethereum is light on coins to swap. That Monero Bitcoin atomic swap came out a while ago. I didn't see a lot of fanfare about that.
Yeah. Are you right?
Tornado Cash?
No. What is that?
me get the settings back for this. Tornado Cash.
Check this out. Cash.
Not familiar with that?
Nah.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal with this? Random key. Hash with the note.
You put $1 in and get $1 out.
No shit.
It's possible to know who got what dollar out.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Called Tornado Cash.
Really?
What you might consider a Tumblr. These are projects that don't get fanfare. Privacy,
So
but that's
yeah. Which is a big deal, because, right? I mean,
more than ever.
yeah, I was watching, what was it? The interview with the CEO of ALGO blockchain.
Okay.
For like a mining company, right? Out in Texas.
Okay.
That's what he was talking about, because, you know, he's just running through it. He's like, you know, everyone thinks that whether it's Bitcoin or any of this stuff is that like, oh, it's untraceable. He's like, that's, you know, it's just all a lie. It's like, you could, you know, it's all on the ledger. It's all on the blockchain. So, you know what's going to, where it's coming from, where it's going to. But that's what he was saying. Things, I think, what was your friend? I think Zcash and things like that. He said if you want to go that way, I guess on the Bitcoin side, that would be the platform to use. But I can see that being important.
You have Monero.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have Tornado Cash, which is an option.
But this is Ethereum, right? Tornado Cash, you're saying? This is on ERC20, right?
What chain it's on?
I thought it said Ethereum.
I feel like it's Bitcoin.
Oh, maybe you said Ethereum, man. No, right here. Fully decentralized protocol for private transactions on Ethereum.
Oh, okay, there we go. So it's for Ether. But then you have Monero. Monero doing a atomic swap with Bitcoin. So that went live a while ago. A few months ago.
Let's check this out.
A lot of fanfare behind that, but that's crazy. Obviously, Monero, like there are bounties. The feds have bounties out right now.
Really?
Anybody create any way to navigate the Monero blockchain?
Really?
Because Monero is based around like rings, like post-quantum cryptography, to where your transactions, there's no way to know who did what. Right?
Ah, I got you.
Like the opposite of Bitcoin. So now they have a swap. So your Bitcoin, you can get the equivalent amount of Monero, which means your transactions are untraceable, right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Atomic swaps are a way to exchange two cryptocurrencies, in our case, Monero and Bitcoin, without relying on a trusted third party, like a cryptocurrency exchange company, without needing to trust the person on the other side of the swap. Swaps are called atomic because they only have two possible outcomes. The trade is successfully completed and each trader receives the other one's funds, or nothing happens and both traders keep the funds they started with. Wow.
But not that I'm encouraging anybody to, you know, do anything. That
listen, let's keep it real though.
absolutely not. But in terms of privacy,
yeah, people want that.
Private transactions legally.
Yeah, especially the world we live in. Being tracked and watched all day.
Read what cryptography is about, and you mentioned Zcash, and they don't get a lot of traction.
No,
a lot of out there, because these are, you know, I don't know, they're not sexy like Bitcoin. Right?
Yeah, I'm with it.
For me, Ethereum's biggest draw is DeFi, and that's just like, you know, that's just hustling if you think about it. To me,
yeah, no, you're right.
Cardano bringing to the table, we're hustling 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, at least for what I see with them, I mean, we'll see, but I do know, like, I know they have some deals with like AT&T and some companies like that, so I could see some of them really just gearing their technology towards, like, just, you know, whether it's the banking, right, big financial institutions, banks, things like that, where it may not be quite as sexy in terms of, like, right, the popular thing in the community or in the world, but I can see a use for it where it generates revenue, right?
I feel like that's their bag. It's supposed to be enterprise level, software, but I don't see no, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get what you're saying.
Veritree thing you mentioned. So Veritree uses the Cardano blockchain, so that's a positive. And Samsung is planting 2 million trees. They're planting 2 million trees through the Veritree system, you know, whatever platform they have, which is based on Cardano blockchain.
Yep. which was, I guess for me, it was just more exciting to see some sort of news that mentioned Cardano. I was like, what is this? I saw, well, no, I mean, I just, I'm in on it. I think it's, I don't know. It's just one of those, to me, that it kind of slides under the radar, kind of like it's big and it's talked about, but it's not, again, it doesn't do anything really that like where Ethereum's everywhere, right? Bitcoin's everywhere, especially nowadays, like NFTs and, all that. Cardano just kind of, it's just there in the background, which may be for good reason. I don't know. But yeah, I just think, I don't know. Like I said, I've heard a couple things, and anything I have heard from them, it hasn't been a big deal, but it's been like, oh, they signed this deal with AT&T now to, right? I forgot, I got to find that article. That was a little bit back, but they signed a deal with AT&T, which I thought was pretty cool because I didn't hear as much of that with the, with the larger cryptos or blockchains. So I thought that was kind of cool. And it's just funny though, because whenever that stuff comes out, like it doesn't even move. Like, you know what I mean? Where like any of these other ones, if you're in on them, like anything comes out, and it's just like, oh shit, it's moving. Where this news comes out, and that shit right. loses market cap. So I don't know. It's funny to me. I just think it's one of those things that maybe one day down the line I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh, look at that. I'm glad I stacked all that 88.
Can happen.
It could. I'm not saying it will, but we'll see. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of cool things. A lot of people doing a lot of cool things. Like I was even talking about, ironically, we were talking about, remember that Helium miner I was telling you I ordered like 6+ months ago.
Right.
I just got the shipping information this morning that it finally shipped. I'm supposed to get it like Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, so it took a while, man. I think where's Helium at? Yeah, they're about 31.50. So like I said, when I was getting into that, I think they were at like $10. HNT was at like $10. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get into this, and then so we'll see what happens. But I think I was telling you, I saw something recently that they signed a deal with what was it, Dish Network, which I thought was kind of cool. Talking about turning the cable box, like you were talking about, but turning the cable boxes into Helium hotspot miners. So like now you got your cable box or satellite box, but you get paid. You get paid your rewards, right? So they can make that whole mesh network that they're creating. Same way as like Optimum or any of them do, like we discussed. But I just thought it was cool for like.
I thought that was interesting because like they're using your cable box as a hotspot, right? And so that's how they're mesh network across the city. But you're using electricity. How come you don't get a kickback?
Well, exactly. So I think that's what this is. Here, I'm going to throw this up here. Actually, this is from Dish. Dish partners with Helium to leverage the Helium Network's blockchain model using CBRS Spectrum. Not that I know much about that, but I just think it's kind of cool. And I believe, too, that they're trying to change. So, again, can't quote me on any of this. My understanding was initially, like, their whole Helium network is more for, like, Internet of Things technology and things like that. I believe they're trying to transition over to like some 5G technology as well.
I'm not familiar with the 5G side, but that's what Helium is about, especially for the early adopters. It's a cool concept. I don't know if they're sticking with that roadmap, but what it was is monetizing, like your how do I say it? Like monetizing your hardware, your Wi-Fi capable hardware. You leave out that space so that if somebody's let's say I'm running and I have something that's tracking my mileage. I'm basically going from hotspot to hotspot to hotspot. Does that make sense?
It's like a mesh network, basically.
Yeah, I'm paying through Helium Token. It's a cool concept. And if you bought their little router that did this thing, you like mined Helium. I mean, for people that are early adopters, I'm sure they made out like bandits.
Well, hit and miss, because another part of it from some of the stuff at least I read was that, so you need to be around other Helium miners in order for, right? Like if you're just one in the middle of nowhere, like you're going to get no connectivity and you're not going to get rewarded much. So you actually get paid off. It's more incentivized that there are more of them than less. They have to be within certain distances and stuff. So it's not huge. Throw 10 of them up at your house or something like that. But the whole idea is that it needs to create a network. So you need these hotspot miners within a certain vicinity of every hotspot miner in order for them to communicate and even get those rewards. So it's kind of cool in the fact that it's like It's not like it's something you're gonna do and not tell people about it. You'd be like, yeah, go get one, put it at your house. You know, I know a couple people. I think my buddy ordered them. It's like, I'm gonna put one at my mom's house, put one in my shop. Right, they're all certain vicinities away from each other. But the goal is to basically have more of these to create that coverage. Because the more there are, the more access there'll be to the network, so the more rewards you'll actually get, which I thought was kind of cool.
Let me know if you get more into that, because I'm wondering if it's my cable box, do I get a? You know what I mean?
Like I said, I'm supposed to have it this week, so I'm gonna check it out, and you know, I know you can go on there and see. Check it out. They have like a map, like a hotspot map, so you could actually try to get an idea of like what they got, who's covering what. Here, check this out. So they'll actually like tell you, so you can see where like where they're all located. There's a lot of them, man. Look at it. They got what? 472,000, almost 473,000 of these things out.
Looks like New York City is in the house.
Yeah. Look at that.
A little bit of Jersey.
Yeah.
New York City's in the house.
Now we come out to Central Long Island. They're around.
I mean, not really Suffolk, but
yeah, they're here though. They're here though. You know what I mean?
That's all. So,
and that's what you want though. Ideally, you want there to be some sort of coverage, and your goal is to try to fill in this grid. You know, because the more connected you are. What was that?
I wonder if this is residential. Like, if you could have an overlay of like a Google Earth, would this be like residential housing or industrial? What is this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll actually tell you where they are, like, because people name them. Let's see. They call them witnesses. So there's like the people who can communicate with it and connected to it. And then they'll tell you nearby. So it's showing you like who they're talking to and communicating with, like how they're covering. So it's weird. So basically when people connect to this network, like it's kind of like mining in that way, right? Where like everyone gets rewarded, a certain portion of that reward. So it seems cool though. And to be honest, they weren't crazy pricey compared to, I think all in all is about $500. I think I bought it with, what'd I buy it with? I think I bought it with like Litecoin or something too. I had to buy it with crypto.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. And even some of the mining stuff I do, they accept it, you know, crypto. So for me, you make a little crypto, and then you're like, I got to convert it. I'll just send them some crypto and buy some GPU risers and cables and all that stuff. But it's interesting to me. It's just a different, you know, it's just a different thing.
This is what I love about the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Hands-on DIY.
Yeah, that's the cool thing to me is that, like, you know, they're giving you a lot of avenues to not only just do stuff you're interested in, but also make some cash at the same time. So for me, it's like, let's see the U.S. stuff. Florida's popping. Not too big down in Mexico, huh?
California, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, come on. It's the coasts. I mean, look at this cluster over here, though, dude. Man. All the way up to like.
It's definitely East Coast.
Yeah, man. It's all over, but you know, it's. I'll see how it works. I'll see if I get anything out of it. I just thought it was a cool thing, and the cool thing with that is like the power. Like the things take less than like 5 watts. You know what I mean? It's like plugging in an access point.
You familiar with IPFS?
IPFF? No.
IPFS. Interplanetary File System.
Oh, FS. Okay, got you. Now, what is that?
Decentralized internet.
Powers distributed.
Kind of like, that's the thing about ICP.
It's this right here you're talking about. Peer-to-peer hypermedia protocols on to preserve and grow humanity's knowledge by making the web upgradable, resilient, and more open.
Something like your Bored Ape Yacht Club is built on this. This is how they hold the JPEG.
Really?
So your more advanced NFT systems would use this. It's open source, free.
Okay.
But it's decentralized internet. So that's what it's really made for, and it's old technology actually.
So that basically saying,
I think I like what they're trying to do, but it's weird that they're, you know, it's already out. It's already wide production. Been out for a while.
So how does this exactly? What is this? That like you ever watch that show Silicon Valley on HBO back in the day?
Good show.
Yeah, is that kind of like this, some Pied Piper shit?
Yes.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was out before they came out with that show.
Okay, yeah, but that was like the whole premise of that shit initially. Initially, his whole shit was just an algorithm for compression, I believe.
For that, right?
Right, and then they realized it's like, yo, this is like the new wave of internet, and they basically use every cell phone, every computer, every node, basically.
Well, that's the cool thing, because you think about websites, and websites change on you. They change the rules on you. They change the contract on you, and you're at the mercy of that website. So that's what ICP is trying to bring to the table, but that's what IPFS does bring to the table. It's not really used that way, but that's what it was made for. And it can easily be used that way, to where we hold the internet on our devices. So using blockchain to persist the internet, and then somebody, like, if they change their website, you have the option to visit the new website, but you can still interact with the old one. They can't turn that one off.
Because it's already stored amongst every device, so it's like like an archive of everything, basically, right?
But it still interacts in terms of, like, I don't know, let's say SoundCloud, not to call out any business, but let's say SoundCloud had a membership fee, and then they changed the membership fee. They would have to make a new website on a chain to accomplish that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is basically saying it right here. Small chunks really cool called content identifier. It's a permanent record of your file as it exists at that point in time. Let's look at your file. There's the peer nodes who's storing the content referenced by the CID. If you were done, they cache a copy and become another provider. Got you. So basically, every time they access it, they're downloading it. In theory, right? So now it's like that current version. It has a fingerprint, is what they're saying, right? Like,
right. So imagine like they had like a wallet attached, like a smart contract attached to the payment system.
Yep.
All right. So then it's completely decentralized. So so if you make a company go that far with it.
Yeah.
Even if they change their system, it's like, okay, I'm still going to interact with your old system. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's a new paradigm. It's a new way to do. And stuff like that never gets fanfare. Talk about Shiba Inu.
Resistant to tampering and censorship. Any changes to a file don't overwrite the original and common chunks across. You know what's cool with that is like, it's kind of like, again, I could be totally wrong, but in my simpleton mind, it's almost like when someone says some crazy flagrant shit on Twitter and then deletes it. And then someone's like, oh, here's the screenshot. You know what I mean? Right? Like, oh, they definitely said it. We're like, this is basically what that is. Like, yeah, there ain't no getting away from that. On a larger scale, though, right? Not just a tweet, but anything. Any file, really, or anything that exists.
Well, powers with somebody's website, so their web app.
Yep.
And so when you interact with that web app, they can't take it away from you. Like Facebook.
Yeah, there would be no like banning you, basically. They couldn't kick you off of it.
Right. Well, unless if they change the rules to ban you, then it's web app. So they would have, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
You have the choice to interact with that or not.
It's like, nah, I'm good. I'm
still
the old version.
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
a novel concept.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's basically just creating like an always active archive, right? Across all the devices. And then because each device that interacts with it basically downloads a copy of it.
Exactly.
It always exists, rather than like, oh, they went in and like Amazon Web Services or something wiped your server or any of that. That wouldn't happen.
It's not holding like a database of all activity, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just holding the web app itself.
Yeah, I got you.
All the transactions are on different blockchains. You know what I mean?
That's pretty impressive.
It's decentralized. Nobody owns that. Does that make sense?
I'm with it. Like who or what utilizes this currently?
Everything. Bored Ape Yacht Club. You know what that is?
Yeah, the NFTs.
But they use this because this is how so a lot of like your crypto punks and stuff like that is not really based on the JPEG.
Yeah.
It's just ID number. But Bored Ape Yacht Club, they call themselves like the JPEG is actually part of the NFT. So they use this concept of the CID that's in this system, which is like the file is hashed, and if anything changes about that JPEG, it would be a different ID. So they use this system for those weird looking things.
Gotcha. Is that really just a way to verify that it's like what you have is what you have, or it's just the way they say now this is just a different?
It's just a simple code base. It's open source. Anybody could use this. You can build your blockchain on this easily. Anybody.
That's pretty impressive.
It's just a way to have like big files Instead of you having to have the whole file, like, okay, if you had a will, perfect example, this, you could do this. I'm getting wonky, but if you had a will, right, you could have the text of the will be a hash, and so nobody could change one word on that will. And so now you could put the hash out there, and then you could put the will out, and they could say, yes, this wording of the will is this hash, right? So it's taking a big file and it's just making an ID number. So you have a big picture, and if they change one pixel in that picture, it would change the hash. So when they sell you this, picture of an ape or whatever it is, there's some people, it's the exact Bored Ape yacht club because they put the hash up for you. So it's a verification thing. So
okay, that's what I was getting at. Basically, it's easy to compare what you have versus what it was.
Right, movies. You could have the movie, right? And you could say, is this the movie? Yeah. You don't look at the entire file. You just look at the hash of the file.
Understood.
They can use one pixel in one frame. It's not the movie anymore. Okay. So for you do. It's limitless. It's an open source.
Sounds pretty impressive, man.
It is, but it doesn't get fanfare. But it's used in production.
Because it's kind of like behind the scenes, though, right? It's not really like the. I'd sound like that, but like it's not the. It's not the main character. It's just.
Not that.
Right? It's like the movie set. It's like the movie set, and then there's all these characters, moving amongst it.
$300,000 NFTs. That's the section.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts right there. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna look into that a little more though.
Because they have a coin.
Really? Okay.
I don't know where it's at right now. No, it's not a moneymaker, but it's I don't know.
I didn't see them mention anything like that. I'll poke around on that a little more. Yeah, I didn't see much on there. Not bad. Who's already using it? Oh, they're answering all the questions I was asking. Who's already using it? Do the ecosystem directory. Let's see who's on here. All projects. I've heard of Audius. That's that music streaming platform right there on there.
Yeah. Opulus.
Yeah.
It hit recently, price-wise, but they're trying to do something similar. They're trying to do like a copyright on the blockchain.
Yep. That makes sense though. That makes complete sense to me. Like even when I like when I first thought of NFTs, I think I brought up in one of our groups. That's kind of what I related it to. Was like document verification. Like think about it, dude. Not to be, but like you got to go somewhere to get a license. Like you have to give them a paper copy of your birth certificate. Like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? How is it not a digital way to just be like, yo? You know what I mean?
I was having a conversation on LinkedIn.
Or deed, or same thing with law.
Yeah, and they would talk about NFTs for like deeds, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And especially think about it. You sell that house, and now it's verified, and now you could also work it in there where it's like, yeah, I get a 1% or 2% sale of every time this thing transfers.
And you can put that in a publicly auditable contract.
Yeah,
a smart contract it could be hard coded with somebody's wallet, and then legally they could sign off that wallet,
just like that.
But to me, the real power is you think about, like you just said, if you want a license, you got to go get your birth certificate, this, that, and the fourth and fifth to present it to you, right?
Yep.
And how long does it take when you send in the paperwork?
Oh shit! You're sending it to the government, bro. You talking?
Something like algorithm changes every 4.5 seconds. So imagine if you could get your license in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the power to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think everything right now is all like the cute stuff, like where it's like, oh, that's great, that's awesome. But like in terms of like the infrastructure side of it, I think that's where it's gonna really have all its value. Because like you literally change the world, yeah. You know what I mean? Like literally. Think about these people who don't have IDs or anything. I mean, even look at what we just experienced, right, with this whole debacle of like the vote, like the election. People think it's real. It's not real. People, like whatever your viewpoint is, that'd be pretty easy to fix, yo. When you really think about it.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? And it would make sense. But yo, we don't gotta worry about none of that shit no more. Whether it's if it's mailed in, if it's whatever, we're good. If it's real, it's real. You know what I mean? But it's yeah, I don't know. I just see stuff like this. But let's keep it real too. I think I'm not saying it's out of that. In certain worlds, they don't want shit to be verified. Some people, that's how they get by, right? Like, just take it for what it is. Trust me. I have your best interest.
It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, man.
Yep, exactly, man. So it's yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's more what I'm into. Like I said, for me, if it's a way I can make some money off it, right, I'm all for it. But yeah, I definitely see it going that avenue of really just like how it could really change things and really connect the world too, right? Because we all know how the world works. I mean, we live in the United States, but you know, the rest of the country, they don't have certain capabilities that we have. And it's crazy that they don't. And why is it? Because people don't want them to.
So people from our generation know life without a lot of this stuff, or at least definitely it as developed as it is right now.
Yep.
Really, the cryptocurrency, it's easy for us to see how, you know, it's in its infancy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I remember the internet. I remember Netscape Navigator and AOL and your dial-up modem and shit. I remember all that shit.
It's just starting.
That's what I'm saying. This is just the beginning of this shit. So who knows what it's going to be in 10 years from now, you know? But I'm just saying, if Elon Musk can shoot satellites into space and put a grid around the Earth to give everyone fucking internet, come on, son. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy that there's countries and parts of the world that are where they are and in the state they are in, when it's like the technology that we have is like, come on. You can connect all that shit in a hot second. That's why I think it's cool that you have all these smaller, right? Small economies and small countries they're turning into blockchain and crypto. Because they realize it's the only way for them to try to even the playing field. That's the only chance they have.
Now I'm gonna play the devil's advocate.
Yep.
What would we had a currency, you know, that everybody had access to without a middleman.
Yeah.
To kind of control it.
Yep.
While simultaneously people have their own individual currencies in their, you know, like their fiat currencies. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what if, you know, you didn't pay people in dollars, you paid them in Bitcoin? How would that work? How would, you know, get what I'm saying?
Like, how would it work? How would it help you, saying?
Well, no. I mean, would they say, okay, this is worth the American dollar version of this Bitcoin? You get what I'm saying? If we got to a point where...
I would think you would have to do away with that perspective of it, right? Like where... I mean, I think you would still have that fiat where a dollar equals this much Bitcoin and a yen equals this much Bitcoin, right? I don't know. To be honest, I don't think it's necessary. I'll be honest. I think the only reason those fiats exist is right. Like, it's just like why, like almost anywhere you go, they'll accept American money, right?
Right.
So I think, like, from the American perspective, that's exactly what they want, and they don't want, you know, like, that's that control portion of it in a way, right? Now, if you just had some universal currency, you know, you wouldn't be able to sit around and say how much better we are than you, because, you know what I'm saying? That's how I take it personally. I think a lot of it is that it's like forms of manipulation and marketing too. It's like, oh, we're the U.S. We're better than everybody. Look at us. People, you want our money, right? Everyone wants to move here. Everyone wants to live here. And whether that's true or not, that's a whole other discussion, right? But, what was that?
Let's not get too political with it for the black.
No, I don't mean. I'm not saying it from a political standpoint. I'm saying it from like a worldly standpoint. Like,
no, I agree with you.
We all know that's how, and it's not just us. That's every country, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's every country. I'm not sitting here saying that countries don't need to exist and everything needs to be borderless. But what I am saying is that there's no reason that just because you're from the same way as like in America, right? You're from different backgrounds, different countries. You should be able to interact with each other just as easy as possible. But there shouldn't be obstacles in the way. You know,
walk with me on hypothetical. What if there's, because there's nothing that stops really like peer-to-peer transfer of crypto, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you're using, what is this you're using? You're using Yearly. Anybody can, wallet can interact, right?
Yep.
So if I was paying someone, I'd typically pay them in American dollars, and then, you know, maybe where they're from, it's worth more money. Does that make sense? Or it gets more stuff.
Yep.
Get the thing?
Yeah.
But what about when we all pay each other in a universal currency? Like, what if I paid this person a yearly and they take one yearly or something? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because there's nothing stopping that from happening. But
there's nothing. I mean, there's literally, that's all I was thinking about with this Tinyman going down. I was like, yo, technically, I could just hit up you know, almost in my mind, like my own exchange, right? Because I could just hit up my people and say, yo, I will give you this many ARCC or this many ALGO. And we can do that right now.
But again, then that's you trust involved. Who's going to send first, right?
Yes. Well, I think that's what the whole, you know, intermediary and all that, right, is what it's about, is to say, oh, you're bringing it to a central place, so it's not like I'm a, you know, it's like the, what is that thing, those whole scams where it's like, oh, I'm a prince and I'm gonna give you $1,000, so I'm gonna put, you know, right?
But again, think of this. This is where we go back to BTC XMR atomic swap.
Yeah.
Right. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
Because if you just swap your Bitcoin from Monero, you know?
Yeah. Listen, I'm with it. I don't think there's really downfalls to it personally. I think they'll try to, you know, they turn it the other way. Is like, that's not what you do with it. The only people who want to use that type of technology are doing something really bad.
Right.
And they're trying to do illegal shit. And it's like, nah, it's not that. Just, you know, you live in countries or places, doesn't matter where you live, you know? A lot of people, it's like, yo, you don't need to know everything I do. You don't need to know every dollar I make. Oh, no, but we do, because we need to tax you, right? That's what it's about, is that.
But again, can you imagine a world where there are shadow economies where we can interact with each other, and I could give you $100 of US, or not even $100 US. I could give you, like, say, $10 US, but for you, it's like, you know,
yeah,
you make 10 American dollars, and
that's a lot.
You're able to off ramp in your currency. Why would they go to those factories? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you're right.
And if it's
because it
decentralized,
changes.
where there's no
It's the same thing as if you work with people from other countries, right?
That's intense to me.
You know, work with, I've subbed out some, you know, or not subbed, but like as time went on, you look into, like, you look at something like Fiverr or one of those places, right? You have some people on there who are really talented, but in the country they live in, they make $4,000 a year. Literally, because that's what it costs them to live out there. Don't ask me how, but it does. So, you know, that same person who would say, "Oh, I'll do this," right? It's a weird thing. It opens up the economy, right? Because now it's like a world economy, where it used to be like, "Oh, the going rate here is this," but now if you're connected to all these other people, like, bro, I could do that for $300, and it's the same performance, same quality, right?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is I don't think that governments are into that type of stuff.
No, they're definitely not into that type of stuff. They don't want that. They don't want that at all.
Especially in a way that's not traceable.
Well, because it goes against it. Yeah, especially in a way, because then they can't even get their piece of it. They can't even get their piece of it then, because that's what it's about, right?
You as a consumer, that would be really weird, you know?
Yeah, but that's what they
You know what price is, and so I don't know. It's a good time to be alive. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you have a lot of options and ways to get out from under, you know, maybe where you thought you're at, or vice versa. You know, you have possibilities to do stuff that you would never have, you know, even 10, 15 years ago, in 20, 30 years ago, right?
Exactly.
Like, and I think that's part of it. Part of it is like the mentality and the control of, like, you know, oh, like, how could you do better? There's no way it could be any better than this, you know? When they don't realize, like, yo, it's a big world out there, dude.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to, you know, have real information on what's going on, so that they can make an informed decision about if they want to participate. I don't think they should be scared of learning.
Nope.
You don't necessarily have to experience. I think that's what's awesome about what you're doing. You're going to show some people the experience in case they maybe are interested but don't want to.
Well, people are hesitant, right? People are always going to be hesitant, and, you know, all it takes is to be like, oh, if that idiot can do it, right?
Cut it out, man.
If it's that simple. No, you know what I'm saying, though. Like, sometimes that's what it takes. Like, not everyone's willing to, like, just jump in. Some people are cautious. Some people are hesitant about stuff. So if they see one person do it and then the second person do it, and, like, maybe I should try this. Like, that's just how some people are. They need that nudge, you know? And again, not that I'd nudge anybody. I ain't telling anybody to do anything. But same thing we're saying, it's like information. At least the more you know, you can make a more, you know, smarter and, like, justified decision for yourself, rather than just doing something and saying, what the fuck am I thinking?
Or I think equally finding out later on what's going on and being like, I wish I knew more, I would have participated.
Yeah, exactly.
Not illegal. It's not illegal. Just
nope.
You know what I mean?
Nah, none of this is. Everything is legal.
You know, we'll change formats, but it's legal.
Of course.
Right now.
Of course.
Why?
Everything is.
Why not
Everything
participate? Like, why not make your money work for you?
Yeah. Well, because the truth is, that's like, you know, for me, even the past probably 2 years or so, 2 to 3 years, that's been the biggest eye opener for me, is that like, that's what the wealthy do. You know what I mean? Like, you have this thing in your head where like, oh, to be wealthy, you have to do this. And then you realize that it's like, that's not at all. That's why I'm not wealthy. It's because I think like that. Because that's not how the wealthy operate. I'll tell you right now, or anybody who gets to that point, they don't operate like that. They don't use the safe man's mentality and all the stuff we're taught, whether it's schooling or any of that. Like, oh, you work hard, get a good job, and, you know, maybe you can get a retirement. And then, but like, it doesn't, you know, I'm not saying it can't work for people, but as time and time goes on, it's not quite that easy. And there's also so much more out there. No one said, you know, look at it. Anybody who's into stuff. If you're a photographer, if you're a singer, you're an actor, whatever, into the arts, right? What's the answer even coming up when you're doing that? Shit, in high school for me, that's how it was. You know, my guidance counselor used to be like, oh, well, what are you going to do? You can't make no money doing music. You can't make no money doing, right? But the truth of the matter is, like, they don't want me to. They don't want you to, because now you make them look bad. Because they didn't do what they wanted to do. And they hate their job, and now you should hate your job just like theirs, you know? So I'm not saying everybody's that way, but if you can be passionate about what you do and enjoy what you do and make money off it or survive and have a family or whatever it is that your goal is, why wouldn't you do it? Because everyone's scared to do it. So you need more people doing stuff, researching and seeing what they're doing, how they're making it work, figure out your plan. But you can do it. You can totally do it. Because it's definitely people less qualified than us who have made it. So that's what it is. But you don't come at that time, though.
Yeah, on that note, I can't. It's a mic drop moment. You feel me?
I'm with you. If you have any thoughts or insight into what we discussed today, hit us up at OnDaBlockchains. And do yourself a favor. Check out the Bears vs. Bulls podcast.